Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Breaking. Democratic lawmaker served 47-count felony conviction by federal jury. Politicians, especially Democrats, have been under the microscope recently because of the turmoil in Washington. The unexpected Trump administration caused a huge push for investigations by Democrats, but those same investigations showed the world just how corrupt many of the politicians were. Every time a rock is turned over in Washington, something that the DNC sponsored seems to come slithering out. That microscope isn't relegated strictly to Washington, either. Americans are becoming more and more disillusioned with politicians of every shape, size, and color. Washington might be where the most successful politicians land, but no city is exempt from their own local varieties. According to Fox News, one Pennsylvania town has a particularly bad mayor who has been convicted of so many charges that he is facing a lot of time behind bars. Allentown Mayor Ed Pawlowski, a Democrat, faces up to 20 years in prison after being found guilty of 47 charges. A Pennsylvania mayor faces decades behind bars after he was convicted Thursday of rigging city contracts in an effort to raise money for his political campaigns. Allentown Mayor Ed Pawlowski was found guilty on 47 of 54 charges he faced, including conspiracy, bribery, fraud, attempted extortion and lying to the FBI. He faces up to 20 years in prison on each count. Pawlowski remains free on bail until sentencing. A date has not yet been set. The verdict forces Pawlowski out as mayor of Pennsylvania's third-largest city. He had held the post for the past 12 years. After the verdict, Assistant U.S. Attorney Anthony Zorek told the Morning Call of Allentown that he and co-prosecutor Michelle Morgan were pleased with the outcome. "This type of behavior is not acceptable," Zorek told the newspaper. "If they don't have it of their own mind to think this is unacceptable, we will be watching, and the FBI will be doing investigations and will root out corruption." Pawlowski was the architect behind a scheme to rig city contracts for legal, engineering, technology and construction work, aimed at boosting campaign funds for his statewide political ambitions, prosecutors said. Lawyer Scott Allenson, who was a co-defendant, was also convicted of bribing Pawlowski to obtain legal work for his firm. The jury held Mayor Pawlowski accountable for selling his office to the highest bidder to fund his personal ambitions, U.S. Attorney Louis D. Lapin said in a statement. Pawlowski's attorney, Jack McMahon, said he was surprised and disappointed by the verdict. The mayor's political consultants worked with the government and recorded hundreds of conversations with Pawlowski, many of which were played for the jurors. Several city workers and vendors who pleaded guilty testified against Pawlowski. Meanwhile, McMahon argued soliciting campaign contributions from government contractors as a politician is not uncommon. He claimed that his client had been set up by the mayor's political advisors, Mike Fleck and Sam Rushlowitz, who secretly recorded Pawlowski that helped form the foundation of the prosecution's case. Fleck pleaded guilty, Rushlowitz wasn't charged. The defense also sought to use the government tapes to its own advantage, playing for jurors a June 2015 conversation in which the mayor, unaware he was being recorded, complained about an engineering executive who'd been pressuring him for city work. "I'm not a pay-to-play guy," Pawlowski said on the recording. Pawlowski, who won re-election in November while under indictment and began his fourth term in January, took the stand in his own defense and insisted he'd done nothing wrong. The Chicago native was Allentown's economic development chief before taking office as mayor in January 2006. The city's Morib and downtown was transformed on his watch, with valuable state tax incentives producing a new hockey arena, gleaming office buildings and upscale apartments. Following the verdict, Pawlowski cried in the courtroom and his wife collapsed in a hallway. With Americans divided in the wake of the controversial 2016 presidential election, both Republicans and Democrats are looking for a way to get ahead. Some might consider this the time to buckle down and make their public persona as squeaky clean as possible. The Democratic Party in Pennsylvania obviously isn't taking that approach. We get the chance, as voters, to elect those that we consider having upstanding moral character, and the fortitude to follow the law. Sadly, many times we elect the person whose lines sound the best to us, regardless of their history or their aptitude to stand up for the law. There will always be those who attempt to take advantage of Americans by getting into office and making back-alley deals that benefit them. Thankfully, the justice system is still punishing them. Pawlowski can serve as an example that while crime sometimes pays, it also sometimes lands you in the middle of a bunch of convicts with no way out. The people of Allentown now have the chance to elect someone who will serve the people, and not themselves. Do you think this mayor should get the max sentence? Let us know in the comments. HT, Fox News. Breaking 4 missing Marines presumed dead at U.S. border under horrifying circumstances. A massive invasion of illegal immigrants is storming through Mexico trying to break into America at the border. President Donald Trump is sending the military to handle the situation and prevent people from breaking the law. If anyone crosses the border of Mexico illegally, then they face deportation and whatever other consequences come from the American side. So far, the Mexican forces are doing a decent job in stopping this, however that's for now. There's no telling what could happen when people become more irate and out of control. While Americans face an invasion of illegal immigrants who think it's acceptable to break laws by breaking into a country, there are other things going on that have caused even more tragic heartbreak this week. 4 Marines went missing when their helicopter crashed near the border. This happened near El Centro and the 4 service members are presumed dead. This is pending the positive identification, but there has reportedly not been any sign of life or communication thus far. The authorities are working to identify the service members' bodies and provide positive identification before ruling them officially dead. The names are also being withheld for at least 24 hours. A Facebook post was made to address the situation. Kima reported more on the crash with the Marine Corps soldiers. 4 people are presumed dead following a routine training mission involving a single helicopter that happened near El Centro Tuesday afternoon, according to officials. Marine Corps Air Station in Miramar, California said a Marine Corps CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter from 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing crashed in the area of El Centro, California, at around 2:35 p.m. during a routine training mission. 4 crew members were aboard the aircraft. The status of all 4 is presumed dead pending positive identification. The names of the deceased will be withheld until 24 hours after next of kin notification. The cause of the crash is currently under investigation. According to military.com, the CH-53E Super Stallion is the Marine Corps' primary heavy lift helicopter and has been in service for over 30 years. There are currently 152 CH-53E aircraft in operation. The Super Stallion incorporates GPS, Doppler radar, FLIR, and ambus HUD sensors, and carries 7.62 mm and 50 caliber guns, as a mission kit. The heavy lift helicopter of the Marine Corps can carry a 26,000-pound light armored vehicle, 16 tons of cargo 50 miles and back, or enough combat-loaded Marines to lead an assault or humanitarian operation. Though powerful enough to lift every aircraft in the Marine inventory except the KC-130, the CH-53E Super Stallion is compact enough to deploy on amphibious assault ships, and has the armament, speed and agility to qualify as much more than a heavy lifter. The amount of horrible incidents this week has taken us to a midweek filled with tragedy, attacks, invasions, and shootings. This week has watched a shooting occur at YouTube in which a female far-left protester was angry about her videos being censored. An invasion by thousands of illegal immigrants is about to go down, and now there are 4 missing Marines who are presumed dead after their helicopter crashed. While that's all happening, There are teenagers crying that they have to carry clear backpacks and walk through metal detector ones after their Parkland school took measures to provide extra levels of security and safety following a massive shooting that occurred on their grounds. These are the same generation of kids snorting condoms up their noses and expecting people to take them seriously as they try to repeal the Second Amendment and turn into little gun grabbers. The crash of the Marines helicopter was bad icing on a horrible cake in a week that's only halfway over but already filled with tragedy and nonsense from so many different scenes and scenarios. Everything from teenagers crying about being safer at school, to the outrageous level of censorship on big media sites, to thousands of people thinking it's acceptable to break into a country, and now the worst of it all, the 4 Marines who went down unexpectedly. The crash is still being investigated and no one really knows why or how their helicopter went down. Everyone can agree that it was very sad. No matter what, the loss of life is a tragic event that is ultimately sad and very hard to deal with.